This episode's brought to you by Les Petites Poutines. The truck's back on the road April 1st. It's Rochester Live!
Welcome to the show!
Today on the show, mayoral candidate Rachel Barnhart,
Welcome to the show!
Jess from Wild Wings,
Welcome to the show!
and as always, your host, Ron Ferrara.
Oh, hey guys, and welcome to Rochester Live. Yeah, here we are again. Feels good. Hit me. Again. Once more. Thank you. We are back, people. And boy, do we have a lot to cover. We've been gone for a little while, and some big things have happened in this country. Huge things. Sad things. Affecting everyone bigly.
China.
A lot of problems going on right now, and everyone's talking about it. So we're just going to address it right now, get it out of the way, get that elephant in the room out the door. They changed the Monopoly pieces. Yeah. It's awful. That was the only place you get a thimble, I'm pretty sure. You're supposed to sew with dinosaurs? It's silly. It's just silly. Hey, the Xerox International Jazz Festival has announced that Sheryl Crow is going to be headlining. Yeah. Like all crows in Rochester, the city's asking to try and disperse as quick as possible and get the crows out of here.
Get her out of here.
Get her out! Also in music news, Rusted Roots going to be playing the Lilac Festival again. It's actually their 5th year playing. Even the hippies are starting to say, send them on their way.
Send them on their way.
Send them on their way.
It's good, guys. Very good. Scientists are looking into a drug now that's supposed to reverse the effects of aging. Yeah. Which means with this political climate, we don't even have the sweet embrace of death to look forward to.
I can hook you up.
Thanks, pal. Speaking of the sweet embrace of death, we have Kim Jong-un in the news. After a failed missile test, he's pretty upset. Barely got up for a few seconds before prematurely exploding. We've all been there, right? No? Yeah. Let's just get things started here. With me, as always, is Mike Scipione and the Genesee River Boys. Guys, play me to the desk, please. I feel poorly about all of that. As you can see, we've got a new studio. Pretty sweet, right? Awesome.
No one cares.
I'm sorry, did you say no one cares?
There's way more important things happening in the world, in my life, and
All
in
right.
general.
I'll bite. We have a second here anyway. Let's get it off your chest. Tell me what you want to tell me.
Well, I guess I'd like to take this opportunity to announce that I'm going to be running for Rochester City Mayor. Rochester City
We
Mayor.
have a mayoral candidate on the show. You can't say you're running for mayor. We already have this. Like, that doesn't even say mayor. That's the wrong spelling. That's mayor like a horse.
Yeah.
It's a female horse, Mike. You can't run to be the city female horse.
Oh, you can't be a horse. You know how stupid you sound right now?
Whoa, Mike. Whoa, Mike. You spooked him.
They say time away makes the heart grow fonder,
It's a good Mike.
but I hate them just as much as I
Calm down, Mike. Oh, Mike.
I'm doing really well on the Gallup poll.
And we're just going to move on to our guests. And we're excited to do so, because we got some awesome ones tonight. And starting out, we have mayoral candidate Rachel Barnhart. Rachel, come on out.
Rachel, run for mayor, 'cause you're gonna be slain.
Oh, of course, it's our pleasure. And before we jump into everything here, I want to congratulate you on your book.
Oh, thank you.
Broadcasted. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. I left my job in media last year to get into politics, and I wrote a book about my first campaign. I wasn't successful, but I learned an awful lot, and I wanted to share that journey with people. And so far, the feedback has been amazing. I've been invited to a lot of book clubs, especially women's book clubs around town. And the big takeaways for people are that we need more civil dialogue in politics.
Certainly.
And I also wrote a lot about being a woman running for office and my belief that we are held to a different standard. And the feedback has been amazing. And, I wrote the book before Hillary Clinton lost. I am a Democrat. And I wrote the book right before Hillary Clinton lost. And I think it took on extra meaning in terms of problems with the Democratic Party and also some of the challenges women face when they run for office.
Totally agree with you. And actually, aside from that, aside from being a woman running, you're also a former reporter and anchor. Do you think that factored in at all into running? How did that inform the race?
I've covered politics for a really, really long time, and I had no idea, though, really what I was getting into. Unfortunately, last year, being a television reporter worked against me a bit because a lot of people had ideas of what a TV reporter is. I was kind of framed as a talking head, even though I had a long history as an investigative journalist, someone who wrote extensively on my own blog about inequality, segregation. I mean, I was the furthest thing from a talking head, but when people don't know you and they have a lot of money to spend, they can frame you that way. Fortunately, this race for mayor really builds on a lot of my strengths because I did spend nearly 20 years covering City Hall. I've read every single budget, I've read every piece of legislation. I have a tremendous amount of institutional knowledge, and so far in forums that we've had, that's really coming out, and it's been a huge asset in this race.
You were known for asking hard-hitting questions and really grilling politicians. Does it feel like you've switched sides? Like, does it feel strange now that you're on the other side of things?
You know, one of the
Are you
hardest...
worried you're turning into to the people you persecuted in a sense?
You know, one of the hardest things from going from news to politics is this. What I learned is, in news, facts matter. Accuracy matters.
We think.
Right?
That's what they say.
Fairness matters. Politics is none of those things, right? The truth doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. It's not entirely rational. Money matters a great deal. And those were really hard lessons, and I'm very idealistic. You kind of have to be idealistic, believe it or not, to be a journalist, because you have to think that the world should be a certain way. It should be good in order to ask those tough questions of politicians. And so finding out that that fighting the good fight is much harder than I thought it would be. That was really tough. And I had a conversation with a friend the other day about the lessons that we learned. And I wish sometimes I wish I hadn't learned them. I wish I hadn't my eyes hadn't been open to some of these things, because we like to believe that our political process is far more pure than it really is. But I did, and I think that what I bring to the table is a belief in ethical government, a belief in transparent government, a belief in accountability. And that is my message to voters. In addition to having a really in-depth platform filled with concrete ideas, you know, being a former journalist, I can set that tone because I lived it. I was someone who really cared about asking those questions.
Certainly.
And I hope to hold myself up to those same ideals.
So then there's probably not a great chance of, you know, if elected, I couldn't slip into some government position. I couldn't get a weird title like Secretary of Nonsense.
What I'm saying to people is I'm the only candidate, the only one in this three-way race who doesn't have a long line of people asking me for jobs, who doesn't have special interest money flooding my campaign. I'm the only one who is independent. I'm not part of either faction of our local Democratic Party. They've been fighting for years. I'm calling for a new way. Let's have a fresh start. Let's start over. Let's rebuild our party, and also end pay to play. One of my campaign pledges is when I get into office, no campaign donations from people bidding on projects or people currently doing business with the city, because that corrupts the system.
Hopefully we can help reach a new demographic for you. Most of the people that tune in, I think, are criminals and deviants, but they're still voters.
Sociopaths.
So
Listen,
yeah.
if you're a Democratic voter, September 12th is the primary. And one of the things that I learned last year is very few people vote in primaries. You know, in 2005, turnout for the mayoral primary was just about a third. And in my assembly race, it was below 10%. This is people have to understand that every single vote counts. These races are close. I mean, they could be separated by only 500 votes. That's not a lot of people, believe it or not, and your vote counts so much. And if you care about these issues, you do have a voice. You really do, and it really matters.
And I wanted to touch on a little bit of your personal life here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pictures out there on your social media accounts of this melted pile of fur you call Pixie. Tell us about your partner in crime.
Yes.
For those that don't know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, so Pixie, we took her to the vet this week. She now weighed in at 134 pounds. She is a Neapolitan Mastiff, and she drools an awful lot, but she's a real love bug.
I think she has a following
Well, she's so
almost
silly.
as big as yours.
I knocked on some doors, and people say, "How's your dog?" And they ask about my dog. Animals, cats, dogs, it's the universal thing that we can all agree on in politics. Everybody loves animals.
I'm glad you say so, because that brings us to our next guest. Look at that segue. That was perfect.
You did it.
We did it. Our next guest is Jess from Wild Wings. So we're going to have her come out and bring some friends. I think something has to come out first, though. We're calling it a poop cloth. This is the first thing. It was the first time we've ever did this for a guest.
Not for the band.
Not for the band. The band has had poop cloths many times. We hired this guy just to move poop around for us. It was such a problem in the studio. So, Jess, come on out here. I'm not going to shake your hand for obvious reasons here. Jess, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Oh, who is this?
This is Gerhard. He's a great horned owl.
Hi there.
Do you want to turn face the camera?
Oh, so yeah, his head will spin around.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Tell us a little bit about Wild Wings. What do you guys do?
Wild Wings is a facility for permanently injured and non-releasable birds of prey. So all that means is all the animals that we care for have been injured in some way that prevents them from living on their own in the wild. So for Gerhard here, you can tell this one wing closest to me is kind of drooping a little bit.
Yeah.
So he has a very badly broken wing that has prevented him from being able to fly well enough to hunt and catch food on his own. The unfortunate thing is if an animal is not able to be released back into the wild, it's actually euthanized. So Wild Wings kind of provides a second chance at life for all of these guys. And then we can use those birds to go out and educate the public on the importance of these guys in the environment and the importance of environmental conservation.
That's wonderful. Do you ever have trouble, moving them from the wild to being in captivity? How's training go for that?
Some birds it goes a little bit tougher than others. Gerhard has a little bit of a tough guy attitude, but he still seems to get along with everybody. Some of our birds just don't ever do well out in the glove, and so they stay at Wild Wings to be used on tours that we have at the facility to help educate the public that way.
It's really interesting stuff. What is it?
The owls are not what they seem.
I was gonna say, so you do tours and you also go on location. You guys you'll travel and show up people's houses with birds.
Yes, yeah, we can go out to school programs. We've been out to parks. We've been out to festivals before. Lots of different areas have hosted us.
And not just owls either. You have all kinds of birds of prey.
Yes, we have everything from an owl that weighs the same as a stick of butter to very large birds such as our bald eagle and golden eagle. And then we have sort of our one exception as a bobcat, who has a similar story where she can no longer live out in the wild.
Totally fits in with all the birds.
Right, she's kind of like our mascot.
Okay.
We just didn't have the heart to see her get euthanized, so we made a little extra room for her.
That's awesome. Now, I'm sure we've all seen the video of Trump with the eagle. I think birds of prey are a great judge of politicians. Rachel, so far you're doing okay, I think.
I love it.
Have you ever been around giant birds before?
I haven't, but I'm familiar with Wild Wings, and thank you so much for the work that you do.
Yeah, we are very passionate about what we do and really believe we have a great message to get out to the community.
Oh, of course. And I believe we have another friend of ours that's going to be coming out here as well.
She can get cozy with you.
Sure. Well, who's this?
This is Luna. This is our eastern screech owl. She actually fell from her nest as a baby, and it caused her some wing damage, and so she's unable to fly as well. Unfortunately, their wings are hollow. Their bones are hollow to allow them to be light enough to fly, and unfortunately, they break very easily. So it's very difficult to repair them, and oftentimes, wing injuries end up being a permanent disability for these guys.
how can you get involved with Wild Wings?
I think the biggest way that people can get involved is actually by helping to support us. You know, Wild Wings believes very firmly that no matter what your financial situation is, you should be able to come and learn about these animals. We never charge for an admission into our facility, so you can come and view all of these guys. But because we don't charge an admission, we rely very heavily on public donations. We're not funded by anybody. We're not supported by Monroe County Parks or anything like that. So we really rely on the generosity of the public to make sure that these guys have food and that we can keep building enclosures to help save more of these guys from
It's a worthy enough
being
cause, I think.
euthanized. Yeah.
And you guys have a big event coming up, actually, that we want to talk about.
We do. We have our annual silent auction, and it's also a wine and beer tasting. So we get lots of items donated for the public to bid on. Tickets are only $25, and you get unlimited wine, beer, hors d'oeuvres, really good dessert. So it's a really fun event. And then everything that's raised goes directly back to help care for these animals. So you're
Excellent.
not only having a fun night, but you're also, it's all going to a good cause.
And how can people, that's all on your website? That's how
Yep,
they
it's
can find
all
out
on our
about it?
website at wildwingsinc.org, and it can also, they can be purchased on our store on our website, or you can come in and visit us, see all of the birds, and purchase them in public. We're located in Mendon Ponds Park. We're open every day except for Wednesdays and Thursdays from 10 until 2.
Okay. And Rachel, if people want to get in touch with you or learn more about your campaign, where can we go to do that?
RachelForMayor.com. You can email me or call me directly. All that information is on the website.
Okay. Thank you guys both for being here. This is too cool. I might just keep
cool
her
for
and
me
just,
too.
she may just be our studio mascot, I think. Thank you guys both so much. Also, quick shout out to today's sponsor, Le Petit Poutine, whose truck opened up on the 1st, I believe, April 1st. And also to Kelly Flagel at Dreamer's Corner, who set us up with this new set. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Les Petites Poutines. Back on the road, April 1st.